Lisa Lord with the CBC Evening News in our top story. The new school term starts tomorrow with some teachers meeting at Solidarity House instead of in the classroom. That's because the Barbados Union of Teachers has summoned its members to a special general meeting there at 9 in the morning. BUT President Pedro Shepherd tells CBC News the timing of the meeting is not intended to disrupt classes. He says following Friday's meeting with the Ministry of Education, teachers have to be updated and several other matters addressed.
So there are three basic issues, three very important issues that we need to update the members on. So we're having that special general meeting on Tuesday. And some people are asking why Tuesday. We decided that because of Monday being the planning day for our teachers, we do not want to disrupt the planning. So we thought that we would do it on the Tuesday, which is the first day of school. So the teachers would be at school on Monday for the planning session. And they should be at school by midday on Tuesday after the meeting to begin the start of the school term.
Well, Mr. Shepherd says the managers of the various schools should make arrangements for the supervision of students. The BUT head also says the meeting should not be seen as a form of protest.
I want it to be seen as the Barbados Union of Teachers sending a message to the Ministry of Education and to the Ministry of Civil Service, PAD in particular, that it is serious business. We cannot continue to deal with these issues as we are dealing with them. The Amaparis issue is 4 years old. About 2 years ago, we had assurance that it would have been dealt with. 2 years hence, they're now saying that PAD, Personnel Administration Division, has asked that a plan of action be put in place.
And meantime, the Ministry of Education says all schools are open tomorrow. Minister of the Environment, Dr. Dennis Lowe, is eagerly looking forward to the conclusion of the retrenched National Conservation Commission workers' situation. This follows threats of possible industrial action from the National Union of Public Workers regarding a settlement for the displaced workers sent home early last year. Their case is expected to go before the Employment Rights Tribunal, which has had some problems with the majority of its members resigning.
There are people who I believe are just on the thin line of survival, and I know that the government is committed to ensuring that fairness and justice is served, and therefore I would urge all involved to allow the process to work and to continue to be a peaceful and resilient people like we've always been. I'm sure that the resolutions will come.
A local gay rights association is voicing its strong support for U.S. sanctions on Barbados and other countries in the region which have legislation marginalizing people in same-sex relationships. Donya Pigot, the director of BGLAD, the Barbados Gays and Lesbians Against Discrimination, is of the view that offenses such as buggery should be removed from the law books. Her reaction follows a newspaper article today in which political scientist Peter Wickham voiced similar support for such sanctions.
I support Peter. I support this. We must recognize that, first of all, Barbados has one of the harshest laws in the Western Hemisphere as it relates to LGBT rights. We have life imprisonment. So what that suggests is that, although let's put it in context that buggery does not always just be it's not only affiliated with LGBT couples, with homosexual couples. But what that means is infringing on your right as a human being. So if I am a man and I want to engage in this sexual act with my wife, the law is telling me that I can't do it, and that shouldn't be. It's a matter of privacy. The law should not be there in our bedrooms.
Ms. Pigot also expressed concern about the level of discrimination against gays in Barbados, especially young people. She says it's driving more of them into a mentally depressed state.
It is mental depression. So young people go through various changes in their lives, and because of that, it manifests itself in ways of depression, as I spoke about before. Cadres did a poll in Trinidad, actually. In Trinidad, the numbers are not so different from in Barbados, and it said that 68% of the youth, due to homophobia, are prone to commit suicide. And there's substance abuse, and there's mental depression, and then there's absence from school. So all of these things affect a child's ability to be confident.
Well, meantime, a Barbadian priest based in the U.S. is explaining why he distanced himself from the Episcopal Church there. Reverend Dr. G. Llewellyn Armstrong says it was because of the church's stance on the issue of same-sex marriages, which he strongly opposes. He also dismissed claims that he was kicked out of that church.
I have not been informed as a priest, I transferred from the Episcopal Church because of the fact that the Episcopal Church has lost its way in marrying same-sex, having same-sex unions. I totally disagree with that. And what I'm experiencing, and what I have experienced from the Episcopal Church, is a result of my strong objection to that practice in the church. Yeah, because it is unbiblical, it is unnatural.
Reverend Armstrong was on Morning Barbados speaking about his new book, Let the Church Say Amen to Tithes and Offerings. He explained why he believes doing this is essential.
It is a journey of faith. People, when they think about tithes and offerings, begin to think about money. I know ultimately it boils down to money, the management of money. But if we think about our relationship with God, I'm assured what I am managing really belongs to God. And I have a responsibility to give an account of my stewardship. And you see, the tithe is the Lord's. Leviticus chapter 27 verse 30 tells us the tithe is the Lord's. So if something belongs to you, and I give it to you, I'm not doing you a favor. I'm just being honest.
The firebug struck in this cozy community of Cheshire in St. John early this morning, destroying this single timber house in the process. Fire officials tell CBC News around 10 minutes to 3 this house, occupied by Alison Lowe and her 3 children, was gutted. The smoldering remains of wood and mangled galvanized sheets, the telltale signs of what occurred. 2 fire tenders and 6 officers under the command of Station Officer Gordon Boxall responded to the blaze. And we'll have more news right after the break. But first, we want to get your take on this question. Do you think it was prudent for the Barbados Union of Teachers to call a meeting on the first day of the new term? You can text yes or no to short code 8111. The result at the end of our news.
Hi, I'm Red Plastic Bag. Anyone who knows me knows I don't like cold. Sunshine reigns in my country. I love it.
Get your sun power.
Insurance premiums are at historic lows in Barbados, according to a major player in the industry. Yet, he says it's still a challenge to get people to buy into the security and peace of mind that insurance affords. Stiff competition among the 14 local insurance companies has driven premiums down to an all-time low. This revelation from General Manager of Cooperators General Insurance, Anton Lovell.
That should really be a benefit for persons to ensure that their properties are properly covered by insurance.
Mr. Lovell says although premiums have been reduced across the board, industry players have had to go even further. He says bearing in mind the challenging economic environment, insurance companies are now giving their customers up to 12 months to pay their premiums.
We obviously have to facilitate this, recognizing that persons are not only cash-strapped, but some persons are on reduced working hours. Some persons be made redundant, lost their jobs. So our aim is to ensure persons still keep their insurance policies in place.
Mr. Lovell adds that while Cooperators General Insurance did not record any growth to its insurance portfolio for 2014, the company did see a reduction in new motor claims. This, he says, is a good sign. One perennial challenge, though, is getting people to insure their properties.
Fine Barbadians are not too keen in protecting their investment, though how very serious it is. Yes, when persons have mortgages, the mortgage companies for sure insist upon these people to have their properties covered. And then persons that know the benefits of insurance, they make the sacrifice and insure their homes.
And the number of people putting their vehicles up for sale has also had an impact on the company.
Number of persons have sold their vehicles. Number of persons have reduced the cover on their vehicles from comprehensive to third party. And from all reports of vehicle sales from the major car dealers, they have reported less sales on their vehicles. So I guess it all stems on the economic environment we are in now.
Well, more Barbadians are being encouraged to attend the island's lone organic farmers market. The call from manager of that market, Jurgen Stark. He says while there has been a slight increase in local numbers, tourists continue to be the main supporters of the market. The 6-hour market is held every Sunday on the grounds of Holder's House in St. James. Locally produced vegetables and foods, as well as jewelry and craft, are sold there.
There are not too many locals buying. That is a significant small number compared to the rest of the visitors. I can tell. I can't say if it's only 10% or less. And finally, besides all advertising we have done, the market is more known abroad than in Barbados.
Mr. Stark says they had a record number of vendors and visitors for the 2014 Christmas period. He adds that during the slow period, which is usually between May and November, the rates are reduced for the vendors.
So when I see that the visitor numbers is going down, I reduce the fees. And in the past years, I just cut the fee in half. I mean, they only pay $20 here for a Sunday, and I reduced it to 10 in the low season. But then again, I thought, it's not really fair. You should reduce the fees for those who are here all the time, year in, year out, more than those who are only coming when they feel like.
Well, with the Christmas and New Year's celebrations winding down, scores came out over the weekend for an evening of fun and camaraderie. It was all at a party thrown by Minister of the Environment, Dr. Dennis Lowe, to say thanks to supporters, friends and family at his Christchurch East constituency headquarters.
We try to do something every year for our people to show them that we appreciate their support, we appreciate their love. They've been very good to me, especially during the times of my challenges physically. They've been around, they've been there, and this is just about a small token to say thanks to them.
Dr. Lowe says one of the things he has been trying to do is to get people together, and out of this has grown several useful programs.
We do a lot of work with non-voters, like the children. Currently, we are running a program for our schools, now the 2 primary schools, where all of our students taking the common entrance this year are getting lessons twice a week free of cost to their parents. And that's just one of the programs. We have done a series of events for the holidays. We've gone into several communities and we've given a lot of gifts to the children. We've entertained our communities with sporting events and so on.
Well, regional news is next, but first a reminder that we want to hear from you on this question. Do you think it was prudent for the Barbados Union of Teachers to call a meeting on the first day of the new term? You can text yes